Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here today with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, let's talk about immigration, your favorite. The time of this taping, Biden v. Texas opinion has just dropped from the Supreme Court. Tell us about what that is and why that's a significant ruling.
Sure. So on his inauguration day, Joe Biden ended the migration policy protocols, also more commonly known as Remain in Mexico. And this is a Trump policy that said any migrant coming from across the southern border, if they're crossing illegally, could still apply for asylum in the United States, but they had to wait in Mexico for that asylum case to be heard instead of just being released into the United States, which is what the policy was under Obama. Biden ended that, and since then, you've had just a flood of migrants from around the world coming to the southern border, asking for asylum, and then just being caught and released into the United States. And so Texas and Missouri said, look, our communities, especially Texas on the border, they can't handle this flood of migration caused by Biden's catch and release policies, so we want you to reinstate Remain in Mexico. And so basically what the Supreme Court ruled today was that the existing INS statutes, the existing immigration law, does not compel the Biden administration to maintain the Remain in Mexico policy. That doesn't mean litigation is over, however. The Supreme Court left open the possibility that the way that the Biden administration undid the Remain in Mexico policy still might violate something called the Administrative Procedures Act. So the litigation is still ongoing. It's going to go back to the district court in Texas, and they're going to decide if Biden properly jumped through the right hoops in order to end the Remain in Mexico policy.
The Biden administration is also fighting to end Title 42 right now, I believe. And so if they're successful in doing that, are there any mechanisms left for removing migrants that are coming over the border illegally?
So they already have the ability to remove the migrants. So the Supreme Court cases today, it just said that Biden didn't have to implement the Remain in Mexico policy, but they still can if they want to. The Biden administration has the tools to secure the border. They don't have the political will to secure the border. So one big argument that the Biden administration made in the case was like, look, you can't force us to do this policy because we then have to coordinate with Mexico in order to implement the policy, which is true. When President Trump first implemented the Remain in Mexico policy, Mexico didn't want to do it. Trump had to threaten them with tariffs before they said, okay, we will take these people back. So Biden he has the power to bring order to the border and to return migrants back to Mexico. He doesn't have the will to make Mexico do it.
And finally, this week we saw, the tragic death of dozens of migrants who were trapped in the back of a semi-truck in an apparent smuggling operation. That truck passed a security checkpoint at the border. How does that, highlight the failures of the Biden policy at the border?
Sure. So I think it's up to 52 migrants were dead from that one incident. It's an extremely tragic incident. And so the truck, it's still not clear if the truck crossed the border with the migrants in it. It did cross a immigration checkpoint more inland. And so what we know from past incidents where we found dead migrants in trucks is what happens is there's so many the Border Patrol is so busy collecting and catching and releasing migrants that apply for asylum into the border, there's not the manpower to stop other illegal migrants from coming in. So they usually come in, go to safe houses owned by cartels in cities like Laredo, which is where this truck originated. They then are put into a truck and shipped up to San Antonio, where they're then put in smaller cars throughout the country. And that's where this happened, is in between Laredo and San Antonio, the refrigeration in this truck broke down and it got hot in the back of the truck and the migrants died. But the reason why you're seeing such a wave of illegal migrants getting into the country is because the Border Patrol agents are so busy catching and releasing the flood of asylum applications that are caused by Biden's catch and release policies.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more reporting from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.